Now, today we shall discuss about the natural vegetation and the wildlife. The natural vegetation and the wildlife in India comprises of a wide variety. That too, India has got a special place out of the 12 different nations where they have the mega diversity in their lands. So, for us to understand it clearly, there are 47,000 of species of the plants which are present in India are rarely found in the other parts of the world. So, it accounts for nearly 10th place in the world, while it acquires 4th place in Asia. And moving on to understand here, we also have 15,000 varieties of flowering plants which are accounting for 6% of the entire flowering plants present in the world at one particular place. And moving on to understand about the animals, we have 89,000 species of animals which are present in our country. And also we have a rare phenomena where we find is the natural vegetation. The natural vegetation, which is the vegetation of the plants cultivated by the nature and not disturbed by the humans for a very long period of time, is known as virgin vegetation. We have the virgin vegetation happening here in our country, and we also have a wide variety of all the plants known as flora and animals known as fauna. The flora and the fauna are in a wide variety present in our country. So, India has got among the 12 mega diversified countries, India is one among them, and India has a wide variety of 47,000 species and 10th in the places of the world biodiversity and 4th in Asia when it compares to the diversity of the continental level. And there are 15,000 flowering plants which are accounting for 6% in the entire world's flowering plants. And moving on to understand, 89,000 species of animals are present altogether in the land of India. And we also have a phenomena of natural vegetation where we have huge population in India, but still we have certain regions which are untouched by the humans and which are cultivated naturally by the nature. So, these all are giving a special significant place to our country in the world in regards to natural vegetation. Now, let us find out what is the reason or what are the factors that are contributing to have so much of diversified plants, animals, species altogether in the Indian land. So, what are the factors that are contributing for having such large variety of diversity in our country? The first major factor which affects on the diversity of a particular country is the relief of that particular country. The relief of that particular country, generally we remember the word land when it comes to relief. So, basing on to understand the land, when we talk about the land, we have different land forms starting from mountains, falling to the valleys, plains, plateaus, low-lying lands, all these grasslands, tablelands, all these are the different types of land forms which are present in our country also. So, in our country when we have mountains and when we have the plain lands, when we have plateau lands, when we have the grasslands, when we have the dry lands, when we have the scanty land regions, where mountains, plains, plateaus are contributing for the animals to very limited extent when it compares to the dry and the grasslands, where they provide a huge scope for the wild animals as well as the other insects and all to survive here. So, this is also providing a chance to have so much of diversity in our country because of the various landforms which are present in our country. And soils, the soils, we have variety of soils starting from the most fertile soil to the most dry soil. Fertile soil, alluvial soil, red soil, black soil, cotton soil, all these soils are contributing in variety for us to have good cultivation. When there is no cultivation, for example in the desert regions near Thar desert, we have dry land where there is a contribution for the different types of plants to grow there, cactus and the bush trees. So, all these different types of soils are also contributing to have variety of plants growing on the land of India. So, next important factor which is contributing is the climate. Now, we shall discuss about climate. The climate plays a very significant role, especially when we talk in the factors of the climate. First, let us take the temperatures. In India, we already discussed that we have different landforms: Himalayas, plains, plateaus. Himalayas, they are extremely cold. So at the foothills of the Himalayas, we have forest regions where the vegetation is different, because we have the peninsular rivers which are flowing through them, which are the perennial rivers which are flowing through them. While moving on to the southern side, we have the Western Ghats and the Eastern Ghats. The Western Ghats are slightly 900 meters above when compared to the Eastern Ghats. So this high nature automatically affects the temperatures. The temperature here decreases when we move up. Naturally, at 165 meters, 1 degree temperature will fall down. This is called natural lapse of temperature. So because of the natural lapse of the temperature, here we need to remember that as the temperatures decreases, the vegetation also has its impact on that. When we have pleasant climatic conditions, automatically the vegetation can be done. When it is dry land, vegetation cannot be done. So these all are affected with the temperatures. And when it comes to the photoperiod, which means the sunlight, the presence of the sunlight makes the trees to grow long or fast. As the sunlight beats for a long time, the tree grows on for a long period or very fast when compared to the other regions. So here, when we have daytime more, the trees also will grow more. When the daytime is less, the temperatures will be less. So the possibility of the trees growing will be less. So like this, it impacts the vegetation. Coming to the precipitation, in India we have the southwest monsoons and also the retreating monsoons, which bring heavy rainfalls to our country, through which most of the natural vegetation is happening. And because of this natural vegetation only, in India we have a large cover of the fertile plains and where we have forest lands. All these are contributing for the variety of the vegetation. But still we need to remember that this vegetation earlier used to be the most fertile lands with the natural humus which is present in the soil. But as the time passed on, now because of the soil erosion and because of the human occupancy, very rare places like Marustali, where you find in the hilly regions and the Himalayan regions only, where the human occupancy is very less, there only you find the natural soil present there. Other than that, you don't find any natural soil which is present in the entire Indian land because of the occupancy of the humans. So in this way, climate also contributes through temperature, through photoperiod, and also through the precipitation, the vegetation process, and this is showing its impact directly on the biodiversity of our country. Now we shall discuss about the third important factor which directly influences the diversity of any country, especially our country in India. Now, the ecosystem. We have a large number of plants growing. When the large number of plants are growing, directly or indirectly, we have huge number of animals also staying or connected with that particular area where these plants are grown. When we cut these plants, the animals which are staying in that region also started to change their locations. So from this we can understand that when the plants are disturbed, the animals which are living in that area where these plants are present is getting disturbed, which means a system has been established with the set of plants which are growing there, and when the plants are growing there, to get associated with these or the area which is giving shade for them or some shelter for them, some animals are getting associated with these particular plants. So plants and animals are going together hand in hand. So when you disturb the plants, automatically the animals also get disturbed. This nature of getting disturbed is actually disturbing the system which has been established, the connectivity between these two by creating a physical environment. This physical environment of establishing the link between the plants and the animals is known as ecosystem. I hope you all understood. Plants, we have a large number of plants growing in an area. Automatically we find naturally the plants attract the different kinds of animals to that area. So after a certain period of time, we find plants associated with animals. Actually, animals are associating with plants. A small logic here. Plants do not walk and approach to any animal and request them and come here. But the animals can move, so they wander, and after finding a place, they would come and they will find that particular place. So as they are finding this place, they get associated with the physical environment which is present there. It can be a forest, it can be a natural setting. So when it happens like this, when you disturb the plants, automatically the animals also get disturbed. This disturbance or this happening is called the connectivity between the plants and the animals, resulting into the formation of a ecosystem. This ecosystem plays a very vital role, and in our country we have a large distinctive vegetation happening. So this large distinctive vegetation is called biomes. How do we recognize that we have a biomes in our country? When we say we have large distinctive biomes or large distinctive vegetation happening in our country, we are talking about the variety of the species of the plants that are present in our country. So basis on the plants only, we decide whether we have a variety or a distinctive type of vegetation in our country or not. So the ecosystem plays a very vital role when we talk about the diversity of any particular land. Now we shall discuss about the types of vegetations. The types of vegetations, the first major one what we have is the tropical evergreen forest. The tropical evergreen forest is a very commonly found in our country in the regions of Western Ghats, in the Lakshadweep and the Andaman and Nicobar Islands, some parts in the upper parts of Assam region, and also we find it in the coast of Tamil Nadu. Now moving on to understand, as a name itself, it suggests that the trees here are always green. So the tropical evergreen forest receives very heavy amount of rainfall, accounting for about 200 centimeters of rainfall per annum, and here this is a common phenomena that here we receive very heavy rainfalls. And moving on to the regions where it is present in the Western Ghats of India, all the islands like Andaman and the Lakshadweep islands, and we also have in the states like Assam and the Tamil Nadu regions where the presence of tropical evergreen forest is present. We have the animals like elephants, monkey, lemur, horned rhinoceros and deer are also found. Many types of monkeys are also found in this forest. And moving on to understand why it is known as an evergreen forest. The forests which do not shed their leaves are known as evergreen forest. Generally, plants have a tendency of shedding down their leaves at a particular season. So here the tropical evergreen forest has no definite time when the trees shed their leaves. That's the reason why most of the times you have completely green cover in the forest and very few of the trees will shed their leaves. So that's why it is known as tropical evergreen forest. Another specialty of the tropical evergreen forest is the trees grow as tall as 60 meters and above, which also has different layers. So it gives the combination of multi-layered of the trees, and these multi-layers are like trees, shrubs and creepers joining together and all these things, where even the sun rays find it difficult to go into the reach the land where these forests are present. So, and the precious wood what we get here is the mahogany, ebony and the rosewood, and in some parts we also get the sandalwood. Here we also need to understand that we have a wide variety of birds are also present in the evergreen forests. So the evergreen forests have certain features like they receive heavy rainfall accounting up to 200 centimeters of the annual rainfall, and they have the animals like elephants, monkey, lemur, horned rhinoceros, deer, varieties of the monkeys, various kinds of birds present there. They are located in the Western Ghat region, islands of Andaman and the Nicobar, while in the Assam and the Tamil Nadu region they also have the precious wooden trees like mahogany, ebony, rosewood, and the trees in this region grow very tall, like about 60 meters, and they also have trees, shrubs and creepers which create a multi-layered structure there, and there is no definite time for the trees to shed their leaves. So there is no particular season where the trees will shed down their leaves. So that is the reason why it is rightly and appropriately known as the tropical evergreen forest. Now moving on to the second major type of vegetation, that is the tropical deciduous forest. The tropical deciduous forests are the monsoon forests, and these have very widespread in our country. So where are they spread? They are spread in the northeastern states, they are spread in the Himalayas, they are spread at the Chhattisgarh region, they are spread over western Orissa and the Jharkhand region. So we can understand from this that they are spread over more than 10 states in our country, where you find the large area has been covered with the deciduous forest. But basing on the moisture which we have here, basing on the availability of the rainfall, the general rainfall here is accounting from 70 to 200 centimeters. So here when it is rainfall is less, there we call it as a dry deciduous forest. When the rainfall is more, we call it as moisture deciduous forest. So water availability in this forest also, when it is compared to the evergreen forest, is comparatively very less. And here the season for them to shed their leaves of the plants of the tropical deciduous forest is, they have a span of 6 to 8 weeks, which means 2 months of time. In the dry summer they shed their leaves, and here we have a wide variety of plants growing. Especially teak is a common species which grown in the all moisture deciduous forest or the dry deciduous forest, that is teak, bamboo, sal, sesamum, sandalwood. And we also have in the dry region also teak, sal, peepal and the neem growing in a very larger scale. And moving on to the animals, we have animals like lion, tiger, pig, deer and elephants, and we also have the birds, snakes and tortoises also surviving in these forests. So to sum up the tropical deciduous forest, these are spread over in the monsoon climatic conditions. So these are known as monsoon forests. They are very widespread in our country. They receive very less rainfall when compared to the evergreen forest, and they are spread in the states of all the northeastern states as well as the foothills of the Himalayan region, Chhattisgarh, western Orissa and the Jharkhand state. And here we have the season for the leaves shutdown is around some 6 to 8 weeks, that is nearly 2 months, that is in the dry summer for the whole along the year. And we have the animals like lion, tiger, pig, deer and elephants, as well as birds, snakes and tortoises also surviving in this forest on a very larger scale. So this is the second important vegetation what we have for us. Now let us discuss about the thorn forest or the scrub forest. As the name suggests, these are having thorny trees. The trees are completely thorny in this forest region. Here they receive rainfall very less than 70 centimeters, which means they are found in the dry lands. When we look at the location of these places, we can understand it very clearly. They are found in the regions of the arid regions, that is the Gujarat, the western part of Rajasthan, the Madhya Pradesh region, the Chhattisgarh region, Uttar Pradesh and Haryana. The important trees are acacias, palms, Euphorbias and cacti trees. And we also have the trees completely scattered here and are having long roots. And the animals, we have large number of animals found in this forest like tiger, lion, mice, wild ass, horses, camels, rats, wolves, foxes, etc. So it is a house of a large variety of animals. The thorny forest and the scrubs are having long roots, while the trees are scattered from each other. They receive very less amount of rainfall. They are found in the states of Gujarat, Rajasthan, Haryana, Madhya Pradesh and some parts of Chhattisgarh and Uttar Pradesh also. The important trees which are found here are, we have the trees, important trees here like acacias, palms, Euphorbias and cacti. So these are the important significant features of the thorny forest and the scrubs. Now let us discuss about the montane forest. As the name suggests, these forests are found on a very high elevation. Sometimes they are also found around some 3600 meters above from the normal sea level, but generally we find this kind of forest from 1000 to 2000 meters above from the sea level. And here we also find very wide leaves, very broad leaves, which are evergreen leaves for the plants, especially like oak leaves and the chestnut leaves. These are the special types of trees which are grown here, and the natural vegetation belts are common in the mountain forest region, and these are found at the Himalayan foothill regions or the southern slopes of the Himalayas. And the important products what we get from here, especially the wood, are pine, deodar, spruce, cedar, silver and fir. And moving on to the purpose of what we use this particular forest largely is for grazing by the tribal community people of Gujars and the Bakarwalas. And also we have the animals here like sheep, goat, Kashmir stag, Tibetan antelopes, yak, snow leopard and squirrels, red panda. Like this we have variety of animals which are very rarely found in the common forest are found here. That is the specialty of the mountain forest. As the name suggests, it is located on a very high elevation when compared to the other forest. Here we have the forest from 1000 to 2000 meters is the average elevation of any forest of the mountain, and sometimes it can be above 3600 meters also from the sea level. It is commonly used for the grazing by the Gujars and the Bakarwalas. And we have the pine, deodar, silver, fir, spruce and cedar commonly found in this region, and it is commonly found for the home for the animals like Kashmir stag, sheep, goat, Tibetan antelopes, snow leopard, yak, squirrels and red panda. And we also find here a very broad leaved trees, especially the oak leaves and the chestnuts trees. Now moving on to the last but not the least, the mangrove forest. The mangrove forest, as the name itself, it suggests that it flows or it is present at a different region. When I use the word flows, here in this forest, they are present at the coast of any coastal areas. The coastal areas which are affected by the tides is the exact location of our mangrove forests. These mangrove forests have mud and silt getting accumulated at the coast, where there is a possibility for the growth of the plants, trees, then resulting in the formation of the forest. And the other specific feature what we have for the plants here is the plants submerge under the water and form this forest. And the most famous trees which are found in the mangrove forest are Sundari, palm, coconut, Kiora and the agar trees. We also can find the Royal Bengal tiger is a home or the present place of mangrove forest. The Royal Bengal tigers largely are present in the mangrove forest, or it's rightly to be called as the home of the Royal Bengal tiger, that is a mangrove forest. And we also have the animals like turtles, crocodiles and snakes present in this forest. So these forests are located on the coastal areas where the tides touch them and they bring the mud and the silt which gets accumulated. The plants submerge themselves under the water but still sustained by the support of the mud and the silt. And we have the special trees like Sundari, palm, coconut, Kiora present here. And the Royal Bengal tiger is a famous animal which lives here. Other than this, we also have the turtles, crocodiles and also the variety of snakes which survive in this mangrove forest. For India, we have this in the West Bengal region, the borders where we have the Sundarban lake or the Sundarban forest, where we also call this Sundarban forest because of the presence of the Sundari tree there. So Sundarbans are the homes for the Royal Bengal tigers in India. Now, looking at the wild animals which are available in our country or the wildlife, let us look from the left to right, the clockwise. 89,000 of the animal species are found in our country, which are in a very large number. And moving on to understand the birds, we have 1200 varieties of birds, and which are accounting for 13% in the diversity of the world, and 2500 varieties of the fishes, 5 to 8% of the reptiles like amphibians, mammals, all are present in our country. And when we talk about the mammals, the most gigantic mammal or the most difficult or stout animal, that is elephant, that is present here, and it is found in the states of Assam, Karnataka and Kerala. And moving on to the one-horned rhino, that is present in the swampy and the marshy tracts of Assam and the West Bengal regions. We also find the wild ass camels in the wild asses, camels in the dry regions of Rajasthan. And moving on towards the northern regions, we find the Indian bison, blue bull, chausinga. These all are found near the Jammu and Kashmir region. And when we move on to the western region, we find tigers, lions in the Gujarat state. We also find in the Jammu and Kashmir a cool climatic condition where the different types of animals which are polar animals like sheep, antelopes, kiangs, barrels, all these are present in this region. And not only the animals which are present on the land, the fishes, but we also have in the lakes and the rivers the crocodiles and the gharials, which all are present. So 89,000 of varieties of animals, 12,000 varieties of birds, which are accounting for 13% of the world's complete animal diversity, and different types of reptiles, 5 to 8% of the world's entire reptiles are present in our country. And we have elephants, rhinos, wild ass, camels, Indian bison, blue bull, chausinga, 4 antelopes, 4 horns antelope, tigers, lions at Sundarbans in West Bengal, and we also have sheep, antelopes, kiangs, barrels, the blue sheep, the crocodiles, the gharials. And this results for us that India is having a large and wide variety of animals and large number of species present in our country. Not only the animals, we also have wide variety of plants, which we discussed earlier. So as a man's greedy is increasing day to day, nowadays the people are hunting the animals, and daily they are hunting them in hundreds and hundreds to thousands. So the number of the animals are becoming in danger. So nearly 1300 species of animals are in danger, and 20 species are completely extinct from this world. So the government of India has put on certain steps in order to preserve the flora and the fauna which is present in our country. So what are the steps the government is trying to take to protect them? Let's find out. Now, the major steps which the government has taken to protect the flora and fauna, because every animal plays a very vital role in the ecosystem. Even one animal is in danger or one animal is in extinct, that disturbs the entire ecosystem. So let us learn the steps which the government has taken to protect the flora and fauna, the 89,000 varieties of the species of animals and 12,000 varieties of the birds of India. Let us see. First, there are 14 biosphere reserves which have been established in our country to protect the biodiversity in that particular places. Like for example, the Sundarbans in West Bengal, the Nanda Devi in Uttarakhand, and we also have the Nilgiris in Karnataka, Kerala and Tamil Nadu, and also the Gulf of Mannar, the Tamil Nadu region, where we have the reserves to protect the biodiversity. And the second major step what we have is government started to assist and finance and fund the botanical gardens which are to be established in various places on a very large lands like 100 to 120 acres of land from 1992. And the third major step is they have selected the animals which are endangering, and they started to save that particular animals. Like for example, the project Tiger to preserve the tigers, the project Rhino to protect the rhinos, the project Great Indian Bustard to protect the Great Indian Bustard birds, and last but not the least, 89 national parks are being established, 490 wildlife sanctuaries and zoological gardens are made into existence, are brought into reality, where we can find a variety of animals and a safe place for the animals. We need to remember a small logic here, that if we go on indiscriminately disturbing the animals and plants, that would immediately put an end to the entire ecosystem by creating adverse effects on the imbalance, or it creates a complete imbalance of the ecosystem. So every animal is important, every plant is important. Plants and animals are interconnected and they play a very vital role on the nature and a set of ecosystem. They created a physical environment which has created a nice and pleasant atmosphere for the human beings to survive. So this ecosystem, when it gets disturbed, that automatically shows its impact on the human life. So we as human beings should realize that the presence of the ecosystem is benefiting the human beings in a larger scale. So it's our basic responsibility to protect it and stop the endangering of the animals. But we people are becoming greedy and greedy. So because of the greedy people, some of the rare species are getting endangered, some are already extinct. So let us not give the chance for the endangering animals to become the extinct animals. We all have to take the moral responsibility and preserve the animal wealth as well as the treasure of the species which we have in our country, and make India a special place and a safe place for all the animals which are present here, all the species of the mammals which are present here, and also the plant varieties which are grown here.